I'm Obi, that said, and we are drinking from the Garden Hose, your favorite podcast. Get us wherever you can download podcasts, be it Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever it is, we're there. Go ahead, subscribe, like us, leave comments. We love to hear your feedback. Makes for great episodes sometimes. Ed, how are you?
Doing great tonight, Obi. We're back on our regular schedule. No emergency episode this week, just a normal, well-sounding episode.
Knocking wood, which you can't hear.
I guess we got to turn up the volume if you can't hear you knocking.
Well, only your volume, because we did seem to fix that. I tried a new strategy and it seemed to work, so that's good. But speaking of new strategies, it looks like these stores have now gotten fully into the strategy of bringing Christmas to us even before Halloween. I used to freak out when it was before Thanksgiving. It is now before Halloween. Ed, you mentioned it, so I'll let you go off on this first.
Yeah, I mean, crazy enough, I walked into a Lowe's the last weekend of September, so it wasn't even actually take that back. It was before the last weekend of September, so it wasn't not even Halloween or October to buy grass seed because the drought, my freaking lawn's brown as can be, so I wanted to maybe have a green lawn before the winter hits, and I walk into Lowe's. And if I saw Halloween stuff, I would have been okay. Still, even then, I think it's early. Halloween's October 31st. I kind of think you don't really need to decorate for that. This is me. You don't decorate maybe a week early, but I understand some people have their whole houses decorated. And I know you're a big Halloween guy, but I walk in, and yeah, there was some Halloween stuff, but the Halloween stuff was kind of put off to the side to make room for the full Christmas decoration setup that Lowe's had. So we're talking like September, I don't know, like 25th. They had the full, I don't think it's going to get any better than that. They had everything they're going to sell this year was up for sale on September 25th. And I thought it was ridiculous.
I experienced the same thing now. I would love to be able to throw Home Depot in and to this, but I unfortunately had my experience also at Lowe's. But before I went away, in the beginning of September, it was just Halloween. I came back, had to buy a simple thing one of those simple caulking gun, something you could only get at Lowe's or Home Depot. I walk in, and there was like one jack-o'-lantern and 57 Christmas trees. I was shocked, just blown away. I'm used to in those two big stores seeing like. There's one day it's Halloween. The next day you walk in, there's 2 rows of Halloween, 75% off, and all Christmas. But now they're like, no, we're just gonna put them out there at the same time because you need to be getting in the holiday spirit early.
So do you think that's a case? I know what I think, but do you think it's a case of the consumer driving that? Like, are consumers like emailing Lowe's all summer long going, hey, when are you going to get the Christmas stuff out? Because I can't wait to get it. Or do you think it's Lowe's saying, hey, people, you need to buy more Christmas stuff. So we're going to put it in front of your face earlier for a longer period of time so you impulse buy Christmas lights. What are your thoughts?
I think it's number 2. I don't think it's number 1. I mean, I personally hate seeing Christmas stuff until after I finish my turkey. Like, go crazy on Black Friday. If you're one of those people who need to be at the store at 1 a.m., go for it. Like, Christmas has started. But I don't think there's people calling up saying, yo, it's I'm still fighting with my friend about candy corn and pumpkin lattes. You think you can put up a Christmas tree for me? I don't think so. And I think your opinion is the best of our two because so if you disagree with me, but you have a brother who's all into Christmas and trying to get his lights early.
Well, as you know from previous episodes, my brother's nuts about his lights, and I have a pretty good display myself. And for a couple of years, I used to try to keep up with my brother and have a competition. And I was spending the first couple of years, I spent probably close to $1,000 a year for a couple of years just to try to like catch up to him. And I quickly realized it was never going to happen. I'm going to save my money, but I will say this, and this is why that my opinion is the second one is when I was in there on September 25th and saw all the Christmas stuff, I did take a walk down each of the aisles and I was sizing stuff up. And then I was like, well, maybe I should pick stuff up now. That way I get it out of the way. And then I was thinking to myself, wait a second, that's freaking nuts. It's September. But then I was thinking the good stuff might be gone by October 15th. I mean, when is this stuff going to go? So, like, you don't want to go show up on December 10th and nothing be left, right? And have the Charlie Brown Christmas tree left, right? I mean, so you don't, so
Unless you
it's
want the
just,
Charlie Brown Christmas tree, which is a thing all to itself. But go on.
true. So it's a weird situation, but yeah. So I didn't buy anything. I just thought it was odd. Now I'm a big Disney's guy too, so I've been to Disney a lot of times in the fall, particularly the Halloween time. It's a good time to go. They have Halloween parties there and Halloween decorations, and I've also been Christmas time. And the one really interesting thing about Disney is that November 1st is when the Christmas stuff goes up. Like they literally Halloween is like all of October. Halloween is 31st. You wake up on the 1st, it's Christmas shit. Like it's like that quick, right? And even like that seems like you leave Disney on November 2nd or 3rd and it's all deck out and Christmas and you're like, wow, that's a little extreme. But now we got stores in September. That's extreme.
Yeah, I think the Christmas creep is crazy. I am going to go back and comment on Disney and Christmas for a minute there because I went to Disney, and I know why it happens on November 1st. Because I went to Disney for Thanksgiving one year. That was when we went to Disney. We're like, we'll do Thanksgiving in Disney. That was the plan. We went there. Disney was not, surprisingly enough, a great place for Thanksgiving. It just wasn't prepared for it in that way. But Christmas lights were up. Was it Disney Main Street we went to? It was all lights. It was one of the best pure, not pure, just lights show. There wasn't just sprinkling like music, like your brother. Just the number of lights and the way they were solidly arranged was, of course, spectacular because it's Disney. So I guess because they're such a worldwide company, maybe that's why they don't do Thanksgiving. I know I was there, not during, for people who live in New Jersey, we know you got Jersey Week down
Jersey Week in November.
In November. But I was there in what's actually Louisiana Week. Louisiana has that whole Thanksgiving.
That must be rich. That must be rich.
Lots of Saints fans, and maybe Massachusetts as well. But the lifeguard told me it was Louisiana Week. They're like, you're here late from being from New Jersey. This is Louisiana Week. They have the whole week off from school, so they all come over. But
nice. So the one thing I'll say, I think with the Disney Christmas thing is, I think, you're on vacation, you're trying to escape reality a little bit, and I think it's kind of, again, this is me personal, and I like Christmas, like, so it's nice if you go for Thanksgiving, which I've been there a couple of times, kind of get an early start on the holidays. It kind of just, it seems as though it just extends the holiday season, right? And partly one that you don't have to prepare for because you're on vacation. So I like that. And I think that's probably why they do the whole Christmas thing early November. Interestingly enough, you're right. It's not really you're there on Thanksgiving, but you feel like you might as well be there on Christmas morning, right? With the decorations. But each of the restaurants does have a traditional turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing offering that you could get off the menu, but you could also get all the normal stuff too. So when you go to the Italian restaurant, you could get spaghetti and meatballs, but you could also get turkey and gravy. So that's an interesting thing. So so I just think the holidays getting out of hand with the commercial. The other thing, if you go into a Hallmark store, year round they sell Christmas ornaments. I don't know if you've noticed that, but in the back,
absolutely.
Where the cards are, they have like an aisle, the tchotchkes, there's Christmas ornaments there. Now, in July, they don't have their best selection, but they're still out for sale.
That's a little different to me because that is the Hallmark store, and they are kind of one of the things they're known for now. They've become very known for their ornaments. So I find that it is, if you know somebody's into Christmas and and their birthday's in May, grabbing them a Christmas ornament is like a good thing to do. So you hit up that, but that's different because, like you said, it's like they're all year round. It's like it's in the back now, and then like the row totally starts to grow. And I'm sure, based on what we both saw at Home Depot, in Lowe's, it's full aisle of the whole width of the store. But I forgive Hallmark because that is something that they sell and they want to get anyone that from last year's collection that somebody wants, they want to be able to get it. But overall, these stores have gone to a level. I've always argued it shouldn't start until Thanksgiving, and now they've burned out Turkey Day, and now they're going to try to get rid of Halloween as well, and it's a little obnoxious.
Well, so on the Halloween thing, and I think another creep, and this isn't Christmas creep, but it's in the beer world, like pumpkin spice beer, like pumpkin beers, or even pumpkin donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. They're out in August. August, you can get pumpkin beers and you can get pumpkin donuts in August.
So, my son's, although it's a top 5 for me, favorite ice cream is at Stewart's. You have to go into the Stewart's. You can't get the box. It's one of their fall flavors. It's their apple pie ice cream. It's a fall flavor, but it does come out at the end of August. They change over to their fall flavor. So I think with the pumpkin spice and the apple cider, they're pushing fall a little bit. And I think it's really more to do with, we all know it doesn't matter when summer begins, fall starts on the first day of school. Like
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So that's what that is. So they're like a week before. So they want when the time you get to school, you're ready. And then of course pumpkin has become such a thing that it's pumpkin, But
Yeah,
it has creep. It has creep as well.
it's creeped, and I'm not a fan. So quite frankly, I think they should just have pumpkin shit on October 31st and let's be done with it. But maybe it shouldn't even be on October 31st. It should be like November 1st through the 7th. So it's all the leftover pumpkins from the holiday.
I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you don't like pumpkin, try to find yourself a sweet potato pie next Thanksgiving. Have that instead. Your world will change.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big sweet potato guy either. It's a vegetable also. I'm more of a meat and potatoes guy, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm more a meat and a white potato guy, not a sweet potato guy. But okay, I'll try it. Okay.
Not sweet potato pie. It's a thing. You got to give it a shot. Speaking of things you have to give shots to, I hear you're getting to go to a concert.
Well, yes, Obi. So it's not 100% verified, but there's this dilemma you come across as a parent, and some of us have escaped it, and some of us have not, and some of us really lean into it. It's this whole idea of taking your kids actually not only taking your kids to a concert, but taking your kids and their friends to a concert. So Ed Sheeran, who's I've heard some of his songs. Apparently he's doing a multiplication tour. And the reason it's called the multiplication tour is a number of his albums have been named after like an addition sign, a subtraction sign, a division sign, right? So it's just, or maybe it's the math tour. I'm not really sure. But anyway, he's going on tour. He's playing the Meadowlands next June. Happens to be my anniversary. So the plot thickens here, Obi. And, my youngest, Alex, comes to me the other night and she's like, Dad, I can get verified fans. If I get verified fan status, can you buy tickets for me? To the Ed Sheeran concert, Katie and Stella, and they all want to go, and their parents say it's okay. And I'm like, well, when is it? And where is it? And how much is it? And she's like, oh, it's on June 10th. I'm like, that's mommy and daddy's anniversary, right? Yeah. But we're all set. That's like when he's playing. He's not playing anywhere else local. I'm like, all right. And then I'm thinking to myself, I've tried this before for her, like this verified fan status, and you go on, and then boom, it pops out, and like, oh, sorry, all sold out. So part of me is like, sure, I'll do it. Like, I just take a screenshot of me trying and go, oh, sorry, it didn't work out. And so she sets this whole thing up. You can only buy 6 tickets. She invited 4 friends. That only leaves room for 1 adult to take these kids, right? And so I say to my wife, I'm like, would you take them? And she's like, I don't really want to. I'm like, well, I don't either. She goes, yeah, but you said you could buy the ticket. You would buy the ticket. So then I was like, Alex, talk to your friends and see if their parents want to go. Like maybe they'll take it. So we're going back and forth. I gave my wife that job to go back and forth with these parents, and not one of them has stepped up to volunteer to be the parent. And as luck would have it, I got tickets. I bought 6 tickets today to the Ed Sheeran concert. So now I have $670 worth of tickets that I think I have 5 of them spoken for with young ladies. And my wife looked at me again today and says, I don't want to go. So anybody know some good earplugs?
So when we were talking pre-show, I said, "Oh, I never had to take my kids to a concert," and then I remembered actually that was not true. However, the concerts I took my kids to were not a big rock band concert. So, like, I imagine that when you're at Ed Sheeran's concert, there will be plenty of uh, typical rock band activities going on. There'll be people tailgating with plenty of booze, which maybe that's how you'll get through. There'll be people smoking plenty of weed in the seats.
Well, it's
Who,
legal, so yes, there'll be lots of weed.
yeah, who else? Who knows what else will be going on? Screaming girls, dude. It's going to be like a concert. Now, the concerts I took my kids to were not of that ilk. I took them to a classical music concert where they played Pokemon music. So, as you
Yeah,
can imagine,
not the same. Not the
not the
same.
same. So far, I didn't lie to you. We're on the same page. And then I did, as a family, we did go to see Weird Al Yankovic. But that
Okay.
was a
I don't.
family that wasn't taking the kids.
Yeah, and yeah, right. So So if this was my family of 4, I think that's a little different. I mean, you
Yeah.
realize I have to. So our car, we have an Explorer, seat 7, right? No, actually we have buckets, so it's seat 6. So we'll take my wife's car, the Explorer. So just imagine, I am going to be driving to New Jersey. It's an hour and 15-minute drive or 20-minute drive with 5 soon-to-be ninth-grade girls. I will then get to a parking lot full of people participating in the activities you just laid out, drinking and drugging. Now, I'm not gonna be upset that I'm not drugging, right? But I am going to feel like I'm missing out on the drinking part, right? I'm going to feel like I need to have a few. First of all, even if I wasn't with 5 young ladies, I would feel like I need to have a beer because I'm in a like that's what you do. You're in a parking lot of a football stadium, you drink beer. It's kind of like goes hand in hand. It's like when you're in the bathroom, you go to the bathroom, right?
Right.
Plus, I'm with 5 young ladies at an Ed Sheeran concert. I may need to drink to get through the concert, but I can't because I know I would be a little pissed if my daughter was going with some other girl's, dad, and he was boozing it up, right? So now I got to have like 1 beer in the parking lot and probably get away with 1 tall boy in the concert, right?
Right.
And even then, it probably gets turned into, oh, Mr. Phillip was drinking the entire day. And I'll still have to explain myself when I get back. Like, oh, I heard you were hammered. I'm like,
Right. At least one of those.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we're going into other strategies. Like, oh, it's Ed Sheeran. Is he going to really sell out? Like, we could probably, when the general public tickets go on sale, we could probably scoop up a couple extras and bring my wife and my other daughter and make it a family thing with the other girls, and I could kind of slink off to the side, But yeah, that's where we're at. So, Obi, you haven't. So you had said you never did what your kids, and so when I was growing up, my parents never took me to a concert either, right? And it's not because I was deprived. I was deprived in some other areas, but I don't think it's there. But just think about this. I went to my first concert, the Kinks. I was 16 years old. No, 15. I was a sophomore in high school. Would I let my sophomore in high school go to a concert? Probably not. When I was a senior in high school, I drove up to Albany, New York to see Motley Crue play. Or I took a train into New York City to see Eric Clapton and Elton John with no parental supervision as a senior. And I know people do that, but I just have this tough time. Like, well, would I let my kids do it? So, Obi, have you let your kids like go to concerts on their own?
So we have. When Sammy was a senior, we bought him for his graduation 4 tickets to see Billy Joel over at I don't know what the name of that stadium is, or even which one it was, to be honest, over in Philly. And we gave him a choice. We said, you can invite 3 friends. You can invite, 2 friends, and one of us will go. But if you invite only one, but you can't invite only one friend because if Mom and I are going, we're bringing your brother with you. So, yeah, him and 3 friends went with those tickets. That was part of his high school graduation present, was to go to the Billy Joel concert, and he chose to go without us. Now, this is the end of senior year, so they're really, at that point, you're already imagining him going off to school and doing who knows what. So there was kind of that amount of, I'm not going to stop him. Now, if Alex came to me tomorrow, he's in his junior year, and said, I would like to go see Ed Sheeran with the guys, I don't know what I would say. I think I would say yes, but there may be some pushback from the boss.
I mean, one thing you could say is go have a good time and make fun of the old guy not drinking with 5 young girls at the tailgate.
But go find those 5 young girls.
And make fun of the guy trying to chaperone
Yeah,
them and
yeah.
keep them from boys.
Right. It's like, oh, yes, hi. Oh, not interested in the girl, just interested in watching you try to stop. Yeah, good luck.
And then, like in this day and age, like the whole, I'm probably overthinking this too much, and I'll probably just end up drinking beer in the parking lot, and not giving a shit once I get there. But I'm like thinking, okay, so they're going to be freshmen in high school, so they should have autonomy, but it's the Meadowlands with a lot of strange guys, probably, right? Like, do you let them go to the bathroom without, like, not that I can go in the bathroom with them, but
Right,
do I
to
have to
lie.
escort them to the bathroom, or does it have to be 2 go at a time, or do all 5 have to go at a time? What does that look like? And, and they're not my kids, right? So they're other people's kids, and I don't know how they think about, supervision. Would they want me to walk there? Like, I'm overthinking this, obviously.
But I that was not a subject of our conversation, but that is a incredibly difficult parental conversation thought. How much level of supervision am I responsible to give your kid? If it's above the level of supervision I would give my kid. And here you are going with the second child, which is a problem because it's your second child, which means you give that child less supervision than your first child. And if there are
Which means I basically stopped giving a shit.
Right. So
right,
I don't care
and so here's the funny thing that I've noticed about my second daughter's friends. A lot of them are first kids, right?
Right.
So here I am, like, yeah, sure, Alex, I'll see you when you get home tonight. I don't even know where you are. And those parents are like, this is my firstborn. Where you been? What are you doing? I already noticed that my kid, and my kid doesn't do anything, but she already has more freedom than I think her friends do. And so,
Right.
yeah, so like, I'm like, all right, so if I would let my kid go to the bathroom by themselves, but, parent A wouldn't let her kid go to a bathroom by them, do I have to like change my parenting style that evening? Or do they just have to know who they're sending their kid with and do a better job vetting?
At this point, this is simple, Alex. Before the concert, they all have to. Every kid's parent has to listen to this episode and then make a decision.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not hiding who I am. I have a public podcast. Just find it. You'll know who I am, and you'll know what I'm thinking. And then maybe you'll step up and take the 5 girls, and I don't have to. And I can go out to dinner with my wife on my anniversary.
And drink plenty.
Well, I think I have rules there too, I think, right? I just think the punishment's less severe.
Well, more predictable. Like
True. It's been the same punishment for the last 22 years.
Yeah, you know exactly who you're messing with.
Exactly. So you know exactly how to get away with it too, right?
Right. As opposed to Alex's friend's father, who was, well, I don't know who he is. I'm not going to make up stories about him. On the other hand, they are this is a concert. And like we said, like we both had the same vision of what's going to go on at a concert in the Meadowlands. So I don't know where these parents are from. I mean, I know you're in Connecticut now, so maybe they grew up without a real concert venue anywhere near them and never went to a concert. I can't believe that. Like, you've seen the movie, right?
Oh, I just think they think I'm going to protect their kids. That's all. I mean, I think on some level, like we all know what happens at a concert, but on another level, we think we can protect our kids from that. And I know I've told this story before, but that first concert I went to when I was 15 years old, the kid behind me, who's probably a junior in high school, was smoking this big fat joint. And he's like, yo, you guys want? I never forget. He goes, yo, you guys want some? And did our best nerd imitation. Me and my friend were like, no, we don't do that. We play baseball. Like, kids in sports stay off drugs or stay out of courts, whatever the hell that is. And the kid looks at it, he goes, come on, man, you'll hit 350, you smoke this. And But I'm thinking to myself, 350 ain't enough to do that. Like
Right,
500, you might have talked me into something here. Like him 500, I'll make the team. Probably be like all league, right? Like, all right, that's
right,
worth it. But yeah,
right.
like
No, no,
so I know firsthand what can happen at a concert. I mean, I lived it.
right. Absolutely. So you're
And
going to
that's
be
just
there.
the story. That's just the story I'm willing to tell in public.
You're going to be there. The story is, the kids are going to be there. I do think the bathroom is actually, as I'm thinking about the different scenarios that are going to come up, the bathroom is actually probably the hardest one. Like, especially when you're like you get into the venue and two of them have to go to the bathroom. Do you stay with the three who don't? Do you send like, all right, everyone to the bathroom? I'll wait outside. Like that is the
Yeah.
the trickiest one. But
I think you got to send all five. Oh, because I don't know how street smart these kids are as well. Like, okay, so if I send two and somebody tries to do something to one of them, right? What does the other one do? Do they do anything? Do they yell? Do they scream? And what about like? So I don't even know how street smart they are. So I almost think I have to, and I have to give this a lot more thought, but I have to send all five together, and I have to follow along so I can hear any screaming.
I think you're right. Now, this means when you park, you need to park in eyesight of porta johns.
Or well, I'm not going to be drinking, right? So I guess we're just going to do a field trip to the porta john. Actually,
Well,
if I'm
you
not going to be
park,
drinking, I think you just got to get there at a time where you park your car and just walk right into the venue.
yes, that is the best solution. You get there, you walk in, you stop at the bathroom because you've all been in the car for an hour, and move to your seats.
Well, no, then you got to go to the t-shirt stand, right? They're going to want t-shirts. So, and
Okay,
those are like $100 each or whatever they charge these days.
but you only got to buy one of those.
You're right. I only got to buy one. But you know what's going to happen, right? You know this always happens, right? It's got to happen. I just know it'll happen to me as the parent. We'll get there. All the kids will be there, and one kid won't have enough, right? They're like, they want the $45 T-shirt, and mom only gave them 30, and then I'm like, here's the extra 15.
Right. I mean, the real way to handle that always is we always like I've taken plenty of kids to movies, right? That's this in a much smaller situation, and it becomes like food for the movie. So what we would do is we would give whichever kid we're taking money for the concession stand, and then we just like, oh, we're not having any concessions, so we don't have to pay for the kids. So we do that one time, and all the kids have cash, and it turns out that this movie theater, for whatever reason, it was during the pandemic, I think. They were only accepting cards. So here I am collecting cash from all these kids, but I don't want to collect the cash. So my son is collecting all the cash so I can pay on my credit card for all their food.
Yeah. But I'm a softie. Like if one kid
Yeah,
didn't have enough money for the shirt, I would pay for it.
of course.
I'm
you
not
would.
gonna.
Right.
But I know old school. My parents would be like, why is Marty even asking? Like, I ain't paying for his ass. He should have got that money from his parents.
My wife would probably pay. I would probably hesitate. Like if it was five, I'd look at. Well, I'm more inclined to be on an adventure like that with Sammy, and I'd be like, "You pay, Sammy. You pay for your friend." And then Sammy would come home and be like, "All right, Dad, it cost me $17 to pay for Jimmy and Joey." And I'm like, "All right, here's 20. Leave me alone."
Well, I also think it's different. Like if your kids have a job and they have their own money, I would make my kids pay for their friends too. Don't get me wrong. Like if I knew my kid had money, right? But the kid I'm going with doesn't have a job, doesn't have anything. So anyway, so more to come. I think we'll have a big episode in June on the trials and tribulations of the Ed Sheeran concert, but that's just a precursor. But love to hear people's feedback on their stories on taking kids to concerts. Any tips? I need tips. Like, what do we do about the bathroom? What do we do about, I don't know, what do we do about all of it? That's what I need to know. What do we do about all of it?
Yeah, I would say this: if they were 2 years older, you'd be so much more in the clear. If they were, rising, going into junior year, but freshman, that's rough. That's a little
Obi,
hard.
one last thing, because I know we probably should wrap up here, but so I'm just thinking about this with weed being legal now, right? It's there's more of it, right? You just smell it more often, right? We talked about it at the wedding, right? It shows up at places. So there pre-legality, there was a really good chance there'd be weed in the air at this concert, right? now it's not only is it guaranteed weed's going to be in the air, there's a really good chance the weed is going to be in the row in front of us or the row behind us, right?
Yes.
Or maybe in both rows, right? And so
And next to you.
yeah, right. And right, and I can't be on both ends of the aisle, right? I can only
Right.
so somebody's gonna have to sit next to a stranger. And I told you I'm going with some firstborns, right? So what is my responsibility to explain what that is when hey, what is that? Like, because they may not know, like it may not be taught. Like, so if a kid says to me, "What is that?" Do I give them the whole download on what, or do I just say, "I have no freaking idea"?
I think you'd say probably weed. I would say marijuana.
Or should I say cannabis to sound really intelligent?
No, I think that would make you sound like an idiot.
Because who am I kidding? These kids probably already know. They watch TikTok and they probably already know.
How big is that 8th grade that they're in now?
There's 500 kids in the school, so there's like over 200, almost 200 kids in each class. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, there's kids in that 8th grade class smoking weed already. Don't worry.
Oh, last year, some kids came to school and got drunk and passed out and passed out in class from being bombed.
Yeah,
that was in 7th grade.
Yeah, they are going. You're not. No one is going to ask you what that is.
They had to actually. The school had to send an email home to parents explaining what happened to make sure we didn't think alcohol was being sold at the school. They had to say they brought the alcohol from home and got drunk on their own in the bathroom. Like that made it so much better. Oh, that's good. Johnny wasn't selling the alcohol. He was just ingesting it. Awesome.
Well, that is good, because I mean,
it's shades of good, Obi. It's not good that Johnny was getting bombed in the bathroom in middle school.
Well, not for Johnny.
Well, really not for Johnny's parents. That's for damn sure.
Right. Johnny's parents are like, hope Johnny doesn't have, other siblings.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Johnny was the youngest, which is why Johnny was able to bring the alcohol to school. His parents didn't care.
Because he got it from his oldest.
Or he had the oldest fake ID, like he was using their license for fake
Right,
ID, and Johnny was able to buy it because he looks like his older brother who just turned 21 and gave him a fake ID for a McDonald's Happy Meal.
Right. Well, he's 7th grade. He don't look like his 21-year-old brother. That ID ain't floating.
Yeah, but we got listen, hiring's tough. Who knows what the intelligent level of people selling beer is?
They're like, I don't care as long as it says 21, you're good. Okay.
That's right. All right, Obi, I think we covered it all.
I do too. So if we've covered it all, that brings us to the end of another episode of Drinking from the Garden Hose. Don't forget, the charm is that we suck. I'm Obi. That's Ed. Thanks for listening.